It's happened to all of us. You know, the weekend comes around, the diet goes out the window. You know, you got parties going on, hanging out with friends and family, meeting up with old friends, going out to eat and stuff like that. It's hard to stay on track. So in this video, I'm going to tell you how to avoid overeating on the weekends. Stay tuned. What is up, you guys? This is Anthony Mundo. Thank you for tuning into another video. I really appreciate your support. I know I say that a lot, but it's because I truly do. I appreciate every single one of you, who just watch the video, like, comment, just support me in any way possible. Like, it truly means the world to me. All right. So in today's video, I want to talk about probably the number one problem in the weight loss community, in fitness, when you have fitness goals, and that's ruining your diet on the weekend, overeating, binging, stuff like that. So like, how can we avoid this? Because I will be honest, that's when you're probably the most susceptible to overeating, because the routine goes out the window. You just got more stuff going on, right? Less time, like you have less occupied time and stuff like that. So today we're gonna go over 6 super easy tips that you can apply starting now to avoid overeating on the weekends. Okay, so let's get right into it. Number 1 is to stay busy, or to try to create some type of routine on the weekends. All right, this is the biggest problem. This is the number 1 reason that most people overeat on the weekends. It's because boredom is the best friend of hunger, okay? Think about that, okay? When you're bored, like you're like, oh, I might as well just go have a snack or something like that, because it's a nice thing to do. You're just chilling, might as well get that little dopamine rush from the food and stuff like that. So you need to stay busy, okay? When you're bored, when you have so much time on your hands, you're gonna go get a snack just because you can, especially if you're keeping, very rewarding stuff around the house. Like, you're gonna go get it. So number 1, don't keep it in the house. But number 2, you have to stay busy and create some type of routine on the weekends. Whether that's, getting up at a certain time, running errands, stuff like that. Like, you need to have some type of schedule on the weekends. Otherwise, you're just gonna get up and you're just kind of basically do nothing, which is okay sometimes. I completely get that, but try to have some routine and try to stay busy somehow. All right, so the second tip to avoid overeating on the weekends is to do super low calorie meals in the morning or at lunch to save calories for dinner, or for, if you're going out to eat, or if you plan on having like a high calorie home cooked meal. So you can do that. So you can kind of like, whatever you usually have for breakfast, whatever you usually have for lunch, cut those in half, because then you're saving 500, 600, 700 calories. And then when you go into dinner at late at night, you want to have a bigger meal, you want to have dessert, you're going to have like 1,000 plus calories left over. And at that point, the damage you can do is very little. So you're setting yourself up for success if you kind of taper it back just a little bit more in the morning. And if you're busy, if you're using like the first tip, then it's going to be easy to do this because you're not going to be thinking about food. You're going to be out doing stuff like that. So really try to taper back the calories in the morning. Okay, so that's one option to save calories for at night. You can also do a little fast in the morning. Okay, so instead of getting up and having breakfast like you would for work or before school or something like that, just have some coffee, have a drink with no calories in it, just to kind of fill your stomach a little bit. So it's gonna, occupy some room in there, so it doesn't feel like you're just like starving. But with this, you're gonna be saving like a ton of calories. So if you want to maybe just skip breakfast or like fast, just have a coffee or energy drink or something like that, and then just start eating at lunch, like noon to like 8 or something like that. It doesn't have to be specific, but the reason this works is, again, you're saving yourself so many calories for later in the night. It is going to be so hard to go over your caloric limit if you're saving yourself that many calories. So either, taper back your meals in the beginning of the day, or do a fast, and then you're setting yourself up for success. Okay, so this next one is really just like a mindset shift. And I've kind of fallen victim to this in the past, and that's the all or nothing mindset. Okay, so this goes back to, during the week, you probably meal prepped, you're eating chicken, broccoli, rice, no sugar, you're being super strict. But then the weekend comes and you just go all out. Like, you kind of let the floodgates open, and you give yourself the ability to eat whatever and however much you want, simply because you're like, you kind of reason with it in your head. You're like, well, you know, Monday I'm going to get back to doing what I usually do so I can afford this. Like, number one, that's not a good relationship to have with food in the first place. And number two, it doesn't work like that, because you're just going to level out the amount of calories that you're, you know, if you're all the way down here in calories during the week, and then you're up here, you know, at the weekend, it's going to level out to, you know, somewhere in the middle. So you're doing yourself an injustice, and you're going through all that, like, you know, strict dieting in the week for no reason, because you're simply ruining it on the weekend. So another thing with this, if you have something, you know, bad or something high calorie, move on. Just the rule you need to implement is don't miss twice. So if you have a high calorie meal, or if you have something that's not super nutritious, you need to move on from that next meal, and you need to get back on your usual routine. Like, there's a very good example for this. Like, if one of your tires flattens, right? You're not just gonna go like on the other three, like, right? That's a very practical thing. I feel like I've been there before. You know, I messed up my diet. I started the day off with eating donuts. So for lunch, I'm like, well, I already screwed up, so I might as well eat whatever I want. Like, it doesn't work like that. You can recover from that, right? You can save yourself from eating, you know, 8,000 calories. Instead, you're just eating 3,000. Like, that's not a big deal. Like, that's much more recoverable, or it's not going to make a huge difference in the long run. But eating, you know, 8,000 calories every day on the weekends for, you know, weeks or months, you know, in a row consecutively, that's going to do you in. So get out of that all or nothing mindset. So if you have one little thing, it's okay. You don't have to self-sabotage your diet for the rest of the day simply because of that, okay? You need to find a little bit of a balance. It's okay if you kind of have something high calorie once in a while. There's nothing wrong with that. Actually, I encourage that. But don't let that create a snowball effect of you eating whatever you want. This next tip is super fitting, because as of right now, the Super Bowl is in like 2 days. So this works for like any party, okay? It's called the one plate rule. The problem with parties is we go there and we want to eat stuff, but we know since we're on a diet that we can't, or we feel restricted and stuff like that. And one of two things happen. Okay, so number one, you either don't have anything, you know, you don't have anything that's there, and that makes you frustrated, that makes you feel deprived, it makes you feel like, oh, why is everybody else able to eat this stuff and I can't? Like, why did I have to be in this place in the first place, right? So you're gonna be like it's gonna build up like angst, and you're like actually gonna be frustrated with the situation. Or number two, you're gonna get there, see all the food, and you're just gonna say screw it, okay? None of those options are optimal for losing weight or for just a healthy lifestyle or a healthy mindset with, you know, fitness and nutrition, right? Okay, so here's what you're gonna do. One plate. Whenever you're at a party or a social event, take one plate, okay, and fill it with whatever you want. Now, I know that's scary. Now, but the reason this works is because you're not depriving yourself. You get to enjoy yourself. But when you limit yourself to one plate, you're not going to be going back and for other trips and stuff like that and keep adding on to your plate. So you're going to, you know, satisfy all your cravings. You're going to feel like you can enjoy yourself. You're going to feel, you know, you're a part of the group. You're not going to feel like exiled from everybody else who's, you know, enjoying themselves and was able to eat pizza and, you know, buffalo chicken dip. Buffalo chicken dip. Oh man, that's good. Yeah, have that this weekend on one plate. Okay, so get your one plate, fill it with whatever you want, but just stick to that one plate. So you can use that at any party, any social event. All right, and the last tip is to be active throughout the days, okay? So if you're just, you know, laying around all day, which again, like I mentioned earlier, it's cool sometimes, we all need our rest, and I know if you're working like a very demanding job and stuff like that, you look forward to that, but the more active you are, number one, you're gonna be busier, like we talked about in the first tip, and you're gonna, you know, you're gonna increase the amount of calories you're burning throughout those days. So stay active in some way. You know, if you go groceries, you know, park further away from the doors or stuff like that. Get out and kind of do stuff. I know the weather's not too awesome right now, but you know, you might be watching this, you know, at a different time. So get out, do fun stuff outside. You know, get out with your friends and family and stuff like that. Be active. Don't just kind of, you know, be a couch potato all day, because, you know, that's gonna increase the risk that you're going to snack all day. And you're gonna, if you're super active throughout the week, like with work or with, you know, stuff around the house that you have to do, and it goes from, you know, burning this amount of calories to burning this amount of calories during the weekends, you're kind of gonna set yourself up for, again, like we said, overeating in the first place, and you're not gonna burn as many calories. So you're gonna hop on the scale Monday and you will have gained some weight. So stay active in some way. Like, just get out and just do something. Any movement is good movement. You don't have to go to the gym and kill it. You know, if you want to, that's cool too. But like, you don't have to go to the gym. Just stay active in some way. Right, now moving on to the most important part of the video. If you mess up. If you overeat during the weekends, it's okay. It's normal. You're a human being, right? You're not perfect. You're not a robot. There's going to be things going on. There's going to be times where you're like, you know, screw it, I want to enjoy myself. Now, to the, you know, you got to kind of watch yourself with that attitude, but I get it. It's life. Like, if it happens, you cannot be discouraged with yourself, because then, like we talked about earlier, it's going to create that negative momentum moving forward, and it's going to continue to happen. So I know it's hard, but when you mess up, try not to get down on yourself. Just realize that it's normal. Every single fit person has done it in the past. Any single person has overate on the weekends. You know, I'm 100% guaranteed of that, because, or I 100% guarantee that, because there's more going out to eat, you know, more like, you know, fun food and stuff like that. And it happens. So if it happens to you, don't feel guilty. Don't feel ashamed. Don't feel like you just ruined everything, all your hard work. If you get back to it on the next day, you will be fine. And 5 years from now, you'll never remember that day. That's how you really got to think about it. And remember this, you're only one bite and you're only one meal away from getting back on track every single time you kind of overdo it a little bit, okay? So a lot of this stuff is just approaching the weekends with a better mindset, as opposed to, you know, just freestyling it and just feeling like if you do happen to overeat that you've just ruined everything. That's not the case. I can guarantee that. You know, say you overeat, you know, once every couple weekends, that's going to be 20 some, you know, a year, something like that. Compared to all the other days that you're on point, it's not going to make that much big of a difference. So please be kind to yourself. Understand that it will happen, and if it does happen, just try not to, you know, keep letting it happen, create that, you know, negative momentum moving forward. All right. So there's how you can avoid overeating on the weekends. Okay. So really apply these principles to your life, because I promise they will make a difference. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, because like I said, this is like a big diet killer, this, you know, overeating on the weekends. And like I said, it's normal, but there's so many things we can do to try to combat it and try to, you know, overcome it. So again, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate your support. I'll talk to you soon.